Dear students, in the previous class, we have discussed what is known as the case of under-identification. In the example that we have considered, neither the demand equation nor the supply equation was identified. The reason was that both the quantity and price were present in both equations, so that one equation was not distinguishable from the other equation. That is why neither the demand equation nor the supply equation was identified. Now we consider the case of just or exact identification. To see what is just identification, let us modify the demand equation as Q dt is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pt plus alpha 2 it plus u1 t. Qst is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 pt plus u2 t, and Q dt is equal to Qst, where it is income of the consumer and it is an exogenous variable. It is income of the consumer and exogenous variable. We know that quantity demanded of a commodity is determined not only by the price of the commodity but also the income of the consumer, prices of other substitutes and so many other factors are there. So income is a very important determinant of quantity demanded. Now we have an additional information in the demand equation. The additional information is that quantity demanded depends on income also. It provides some information about the behavior of the consumer in addition to price of the commodity. Now, using the equilibrium condition, we equate demand to supply alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pt plus alpha 2 it plus u1 t is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 pt plus u2 t, and solving for pt you will get it as beta 0 minus alpha 0 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 minus alpha 2 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 it plus u2t minus u1t by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Let me write this as pt is equal to pi 0 plus pi 1 it plus wt. As we have discussed in the last class, this is pi 0 minus alpha 2 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 is pi 1. This is wt is u2t minus u1t by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Now, if we substitute this value either in the demand equation or in the supply equation, as I told you earlier, do not substitute this equation because it is difficult to derive. It is better to substitute this equation in the demand equation or in the supply equation you will get Qt as equal to pi 2 plus pi 3 IT plus Vt, where let me write what is pi 2. Pi 2 is equal to alpha 1 beta 0 minus alpha 0 beta 1 by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Pi 3 is equal to minus alpha 2 beta 1 by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Then Wt is equal to alpha 1 u2t minus beta 1 u1t by alpha 1 minus beta. Now, if you substitute the value of Pt either in the demand equation or in the supply equation, you will get these quantities. If you have patience, you can do it. Now, as you can see, now Pt is a function of It, Qt is also a function of It. And the definition of the reduced form equations that we have considered earlier is, in the reduced form equations, each endogenous variable is a function of predetermined variables only. Now, in our specification, It is a predetermined variable, that is income. So, Pt is a function of It, Qt is also a function of It. You can apply OLS to this. You can also apply OLS to this. You will get pi 0, pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3. Pi 0, pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3. Now, our aim is not to estimate the reduced form coefficients, but to obtain structural parameters from the reduced form coefficients. Now, as you can see, there are 4 reduced form equations. Pi 0 is equal to this, pi 1 is equal to this, pi 2 is equal to this, pi 3 is equal to this. And in these 4 reduced form equations, there are 5 unknowns: alpha 0, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 0 and beta 1. So from 4 equations, unique estimation of 5 unknowns is not possible. Unique estimation of 5 unknowns is not possible. But we can show that unique estimation of the parameters of the supply equation is possible. That means we are going to prove that the supply equation is identified. Let us see why we say so. Now, we substitute Pt in the supply equation. Then you will get Qt as equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 Pt pi 0 plus pi 1 It plus Wt plus U2t. That is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 pi 0 plus beta 1 pi 1 It plus beta 1 Wt plus U2t. Now this quantity is what is written as pi 2, and this quantity is what is written as pi 3. Pi 3. Now it follows that pi 3 is equal to beta 1 pi 1. So that beta 1 is equal to pi 3 by pi 1. And pi 2 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 pi 0. So it is equal to, and beta 0 is equal to pi 2 minus beta 1 is pi 3 by pi 1 into pi 0. So, as you can see here, unique estimation of beta 1 and beta 2, beta 0 is possible. Remember this? We will obtain, if we apply OLS to these two equations, we will obtain estimates of reduced form coefficients. From the estimated reduced form coefficients, we can retrieve beta 0 and beta 1. So we will say that supply equation is identified. Supply equation is identified. My point is, by identification problem we mean whether structural parameters can be retrieved from estimated reduced form coefficients. Now as you can see, structural parameters beta 1 and beta 0 can be retrieved from reduced form coefficients. So the supply equation is identified. Now let us see what happens if we try to estimate the parameters of the demand equation. Now we substitute Pt in the demand equation so that you will get Qt as equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 Pt pi 0 plus pi 1 It plus Vt plus alpha 2 It plus U1. So Qt is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pi 0 plus alpha 1 pi 1 plus pi 2 It plus alpha 1 Vt plus U1. Now this quantity is, what is pi 2? Pi 2, and this quantity is pi 3. So you have pi 2 summum, pi 3 summum, two equations, and you have three unknowns, alpha 0, alpha 1 and alpha 2. So that you cannot estimate alpha 0, alpha 1 and alpha 2 uniquely. You cannot estimate alpha 0, alpha 1 and alpha 2 uniquely. That means the demand equation is not identified. The demand equation is not identified. So what we say is, as an additional variable is present in the demand equation, supply equation is identified, demand equation is not. And it is the presence of this additional information in the demand equation which enables us to estimate the parameters of the supply equation. This is because the existence of It as an additional variable gives us some information about the variability of the demand equation. Demand equation shifts if there is a change in income. Supply equation is stable. That means we have a stable supply equation, and it enables us to estimate, to identify the supply equation. That is, to estimate the parameters of the supply equation, and demand equation remain unidentified. And if our aim is to estimate the parameters of the supply equation only, then you can ignore the demand equation. Or if you want to estimate a demand equation, you have to re-specify the model so that the demand equation is also identified. Now the point is that in order to identify an equation, the equation must have a unique statistical form. That means, unique statistical form means the given equation will not be compatible with the same data, or will not be similar in appearance with another equation. So here the supply equation is different from demand equation, because in the supply equation there is no variable income. So it is unique, its parameters can be estimated. Now let us reformulate the supply equation also. Beta 1 Pt plus beta 2 Pt minus 1 plus U2T. Now supply depends on Pt and also Pt minus 1. Pt minus 1 is last year's price. And this specification may be correct in the case of many agricultural commodities where supply at time t in addition to price at t depends on the price at t minus 1. At the price t minus 1. Now, equating demand to supply, you have alpha 0 plus alpha 1 Pt plus alpha 2 It plus U1T is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 Pt plus beta 2 Pt minus 1 plus U2T, and solving for Pt is equal to beta 0 minus alpha 0 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 minus alpha 2 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 It plus beta 2 by alpha 1 minus beta 1 Pt minus 1 plus U2T minus U1T by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Now, I write this as Pt is equal to pi 0 plus pi 1 It plus pi 2 P t minus 1 plus Wt. Now Pt is equal to, this is pi 0, this quantity is pi 1, this quantity is pi 2 Wt. And substituting either this or this in the demand equation or in the supply equation, you will get an equilibrium quantity as pi 3 plus pi 4 It plus pi 5 Pt minus 1 plus Vt. And remember this, when you write the reduced form equations, always keep in mind one point. In the reduced form equations, each endogenous variable is a function of all the predetermined variables. So, when you write the reduced form equations, make it sure that each endogenous variable is a function of all the predetermined variables. This is not true in the case of structural equations. In the case of structural equations, one endogenous variable may be a function of another endogenous variable only, predetermined variable only, combination of both, anything is possible, because to describe the structure of relationship between variables in the economy. But that is not the case with the reduced form equations. Now, and in this specification, let me write what is pi 3. Pi 3 is equal to alpha 1 beta 0 minus alpha 0 beta 1 by alpha 1 minus beta 1, and pi 4 is equal to minus alpha 2 beta 1 by alpha 1 minus beta 1. Pi 5 is equal to alpha 1 beta 2 by alpha 1 minus beta 1, and Wt is equal to alpha 1 U2T minus alpha beta 1 U1T by alpha 1 minus beta 1. If you substitute this equation or this equation either in this or in this, you will get these quantities. These are nothing but this. You can try it yourself. You can try it yourself. Now, let us see whether the demand equation is identified, supply equation is identified, or both. We substitute the value of PT in the demand equation so that Qt is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 PT, alpha 1, the value of PT is pi 0 plus pi 1 IT plus pi 2 PT minus 1 plus WT plus alpha 2 IT plus U1T is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pi 0 plus alpha 1 pi 1 plus alpha 1 pi 1 plus alpha 2 IT plus alpha 1 pi 2 PT minus 1 plus alpha 1 WT plus U1T. U1T. Now this quantity is pi 3 and this quantity is pi 4 and this quantity is pi 5. Now we know that pi 5 is equal to alpha 1 pi 2, so that alpha 1 is equal to pi 5 by pi 2. Similarly, pi 4 is equal to alpha 1 pi 1 plus alpha 2, so that pi 4 is equal to alpha 1 pi 1 plus alpha 2, so that alpha 2 is equal to pi 4 minus pi 5 by pi 2 into pi 1. Then pi 3 is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pi 0. So that alpha 0 is equal to pi 3 minus, what is alpha 1? Alpha 1 is pi 5 by pi 2 into pi 1. That means unique estimates of alpha 0, alpha 1 and alpha 2 are possible. We will say that demand equation is identified. Demand equation is identified. Now let us substitute PT in the supply equation. So it is beta 0 plus beta 1 PT plus beta 2 PT minus 1 plus U2T gives us pi 0 beta 0 plus beta 1 pi 0 plus beta 1 pi 1 pi t plus beta 1 pi 2 plus beta 2 pt minus 1 plus beta 1 wt plus u2t. Now this is pi 3, this is pi 4 and this is pi 5. Now as you can see, as we just completed, from this you will get beta 1. Substituting for beta 1 you will get beta 2. Then substituting for beta 1 you will get beta 0 also. That means the coefficients of the supply equation is also identified. Now as is clear from this, in this example both equations are just identified. both equations are just identified because both equations have a unique statistical form. Because demand function is different from supply function is different from demand function. And existence of IT give sufficient variability to demand. Existence of PT minus 1 give sufficient variability to supply function. So that both the demand equation and also the supply equation is identified. So this is the case of just or exact identification.